Hello guys, hi, this is Ganesh Naik and I'm back with one more interview of my student who's been able to clear the FRM Level 1 exam in the May 2022 in his first attempt. And he's going to be sharing with us his journey, his experience of clearing the exam, his challenges that he faced, and also what was his methodology to prepare for the exam. Okay. And the purpose again for this, all of these interviews that I'm doing is to make sure that people who are studying from tier town, tier two cities, or primarily not from metros, who do not have any guidance as such to prepare for the exam, they can also get some idea from these journeys and they can also clear their exam as soon as possible. With this, we'll start the discussion. So, first of all, thank you very much, Masoom, for joining in and becoming a part of this entire community and sharing your knowledge and experience. So, before we start the conversation, just for the benefit of the audience, before you started preparing for FRM, what was your profile? What were you doing? And thoughts around that.
Yeah, so I'll start off with my basic education. So in 2016, I passed out as an electronics and communications engineer, and I worked almost 3 years with TCS.
Hmm.
Then I wanted to move towards understanding management and did an MBA.
Hmm.
And after my MBA, I got into an NBFC, which is currently focusing on impact investing. So
Hmm.
in this journey itself, in my 2 years of my MBA, I was
Hmm.
able to understand where my interests lie. So initially, in the first year, I was able to know that okay, finance is something which deals with numbers, and numbers
Hmm.
is something which I am good with. So that was something I really liked about finance. That everything was quite quantitative in nature and less subjective, which held my interest towards finance. And in the second year, I took up a subject which was machine learning for managers.
Okay.
From that, I my journey towards understanding statistics began, and so that's where I liked various statistical models which can be developed. And so
Hmm.
blending finance with statistics um, got my eye towards what is FRM, financial risk manager
Okay.
management.
Okay.
And yes, so that is how my understanding and liking towards FRM got developed.
Okay. And so when did you started your preparation? When did you join me? Or which month?
So yes, so I joined last year in December. I
Hmm.
remember towards the end of November, in the last week, and then in the starting of December, I connected with you, and yeah, that is where our entire journey began. And I remember I was 6 chapters behind uh, the batch you had already taken off, and the
Yes.
goal which you had given to me and my study partner was that you need to complete 15 chapters in the next 20 days. And we are like, it's very difficult. I don't know if I'll be able to do, but I mean, that was the push which was needed to get us started with the journey. Yeah.
Perfect. And you preferred, you started going through only Swager, right? Throughout the entire journey? Or did you pick up any other book also?
No, I mean, I primarily refer to Schwezer and your content basically on the If Intelligent website. You had some notes also prepared for each chapter. So that also I went through, but primarily Schwezer. I mean, I didn't refer the car books. No. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. And then what was the time dedication that you were putting once you started your journey in from 1st of December? Daily basis.
Yes. So yeah, on a daily basis, it was like I had to take out 2 hours after my job. So I
Hmm.
would come at around 7 and then start around 7:30 to 9:30. I would sit,
Okay.
or sometimes I would give 1 hour in the beginning and one post my dinner. So
Okay.
yes,
So
two
at
hours
least
on a
two
daily
hours.
basis. Yeah, while I was working. Yes,
And
and on the
you,
weekends it was.
yeah, please, please, please.
Yes, on the weekends it was, I mean, I would go ahead with watching your online lectures, and besides that, 1 or 2 more extra hours.
Okay. Okay. And how were you coordinating with your study buddy in terms of when were you
Mm,
discussing things or what was the approach that you guys were following?
yes. So initially we did not study together. I mean, because we were looking at your lectures, making our notes, and following each other on the timetable or the time tracker, chapter-wise tracker which you had provided. So we
Okay.
were focusing on catching up with all the chapters which you had asked us to complete. And we didn't study together initially for like December and Jan. Post that, what we did was we started off solving questions, I mean, of the Schwezer content as well as the online tests which you had. So once we started solving that, then we started meeting more often to discuss how did we perform, what were the challenges we had. But in the meantime, we were still both together on the tracker, tracking what he was able to achieve, tracking what I was able to achieve, and if I was facing any challenges somewhere or he was facing any challenges
Okay.
somewhere. Yes.
Okay.
So this is how we went along, studying first on the tracker and then studying together once we had given the tests and found our weak areas.
So you were doing revisions also together in the sense one person is explaining the chapter or something like that.
So what we did was before starting every test, uh, my study partner or I would take up a short summary of that chapter whose test we were going to give. And then
Okay.
that's how we would look at each other's notes also and tally that, okay, you missed out on this point or I missed out on this point. So I'll make a note of it. And then post giving the test also, while solving the questions, he would mention that he got these questions wrong, I got these wrong, and where did we lack, or could there be an easier approach to solve the same problem. So I
Okay.
could see that he was good at theory, and
Mm.
while I was good at mathematics and statistics. So I would teach him an easier way of solving the same numerical, and he would teach me, okay, this is how probably things
Right.
work. I mean, in the first book there are a lot of chapters which are based on a composition of the board and
Mm.
various principles related to risk management. So he being quite senior in the field was able to give me some perspective from the company which we were working in together,
Right.
and that's how my theory concepts got strengthened. And I mean, so we were complementing each other basically that way.
Perfect. 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 And then, like you said, when was the first time that you completed watching all the video and going through the entire content once?
Yes. So I remember you had clearly specified that you should at least complete 40 chapters before putting the fees. So I remember I paid the fees on 25th of Jan, and till then I had completed 47 chapters. So
Perfect.
yes. So then I remember probably Feb end we had finished off the entire curriculum. Yeah.
And you were
Yes. So
solved after that. You started solving
the
after that.
question solving began in Feb itself, along with doing the last few chapters. So we kept some chapters of book one towards the end, and hence it was I was able to do both things together, watching the content as well and giving some tests together.
Perfect. Perfect. And
Yeah.
so when you were solving the question bank, how were you tracking were you tracking the difficult questions that you faced, or how are you managing the difficult question after the test is done?
Yeah. So one thing which I was doing was I was bookmarking those questions on the website. As
Mm.
well as I was noting down, I mean, the solution which you had mentioned, I was noting down some of those points in my notes. So for every chapter, our notes kept getting refined again and again. Once it was
Okay.
after watching your video, the second time it was when I studied it with my study partner. The third time was correcting all the mistakes which I got in the test. So this is
Okay.
how the notes kept getting refined. And yeah, so basically I tracked them through my notes and through the bookmark option.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. And when did you complete your question bank solving? Which month primarily?
Question bank solving took us almost till April. Yeah, I remember till mid of April or 24th April, somewhere around that time. I was we were finishing off the question bank. The question bank
Okay.
in the sense the Schwezer question bank as well as the tests, question wise
Chapter wise
tests,
questions
chapter wise tests.
that were provided. Okay. And after that, you went for
Yeah.
the sectional test, or what was the strategy?
So yeah, sectional tests, we did not have that much time to also do sectional tests as well as revise the books again and give the final chapter wise, sorry, the entire syllabus wise 4 mock papers which we had prepared. So what we did was we we took up 3 days to complete each book and go through all the questions of the chapters which we got wrong. So So I did not,
Okay.
I mean, this could have been a time where I could have gone for a sectional test, but we chose this so that, I mean, a sectional test will have only 20 questions, but if we go through each
Right.
of the chapters, questions which we got wrong, we might see more content over there. So that's why we took that path, didn't do the sectional test. We revised each of the books, took 3 or 4 days. And
Mm-hmm.
then almost around 9th of May, we started giving the mocks. So I gave all the 4 mocks and solved the GARP paper together with Sachin. Yeah.
And what was the average score that you were getting in the mock papers?
Yes. So in the books I was quite comfortable with, which was book 2 and 3. I almost always got 70% plus marks in the tests. And the main challenge for me was book 4. I mean, book 4 had some
Okay.
chapters like stress testing, operational risk, external internal credit ratings. Those chapters were some of my weak areas, and that was where I scored around 50%, 60% of the scores.
Okay.
But yes, so overall it was like 70% around score.
Perfect. Perfect. And then, uh, so when you were giving the mock, you were giving it properly timed. And did you manage the
Yes,
time as per your actual exam?
I mean, as per the actual exam, uh, I mean, whatever the timer was there, I was able to finish before the timer in most of the
No,
cases.
no. I'm asking, suppose your exam was supposed to be actual exam was in the morning and you were giving
Oh,
mocks also in the morning.
yes.
Was that the strategy that you guys were using?
Yes. So in 2 of the mocks, we
Okay.
didn't give it in the same time, but the next 2 mocks, I ensured that I took the first half as a leave and made sure I gave it at 9 o'clock, which was my exam time, so that I become more comfortable with, I mean, with the setting, the environment, and how how my mind is working at that time. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Got it. So perfect. I mean, when you went for the exam, okay, what was what happened in that first hour that you went for the exam? You started looking at the question. What was the feedback?
Yes. So the feedback was that it was quite similar to the lines on which the GARP sample paper is, and
Mhm.
I mean, the length of the questions wasn't that big. So I had gotten some previous feedback from somewhere that the question length is too long, but
Hmm.
in my case they were fairly, I mean, similar to what I had seen on your platform as well. So I was comfortable, but there were always 2 options where I could get tricked, and I mean, that's where I would get very nervous about which one to go for. But
Right.
somehow I sailed through in that first 1 hour, and I ensured that I took up at least 30 questions, and I was able to do 32, I remember, in the first hour. So
Okay.
I was
Okay.
comfortable with that.
So timing was not an issue for you. No.
Yeah, it was not an issue. So there were some 18 questions which I had marked to look again, and I got enough time to look at them again. 1 or 2 questions I changed my response, but I didn't change much. And then almost 15 minutes before the clock would end, I submitted my paper.
Wow. Okay. And also, out of the total questions that you had, how many were theory and how many were calculations?
So I mean, I had a nice mix of both of them. I mean, around 70 odd were theory, and the next 25 to 30 were around numerical. But
Mhm.
yeah, even the numerical had more or less conceptual understanding required, not that difficult in remembering the formulas and all.
Okay. Okay. And overall, the question paper was, what do you feel? Was it very tough? Or you can say how many questions were really tough, how many questions were manageable?
Yeah, so I bookmarked 18 of the questions which I found to be really tricky for me, and the next 10 odd you can consider could have been some very odd questions. I mean, hadn't I not gone through the tests or looked at your notes and the material nicely, it would have challenged me more. So yes, 25 to
Mm.
30 questions were tricky enough to quiz
Okay.
you. Yeah, but the
Okay.
rest 65, 70. Fine.
And when you came out of the center, was there any number in your mind that, okay, I might have given this much right?
So as per my mock performances, I was able to get always above 70, and in one mock I did really well, got above 80 also. So I had fairly decent idea. Even if it's a bad day for me, I'll cross 65 easily. So keeping those 18 aside and some or 10 odd, I had a thought of 65 to 70 being my worst performance as well. Yes.
Okay. And when the result came in, what were the quartiles?
So I got first quartile in all the 4 books, and I was only nervous about book 4, but yes, I feel really happy that I crossed quartile 1 in book 4 as well. So
Perfect. Perfect.
yeah, it was quartile 1 in all 4.
So now when the results are out, what has been the feedback of people around you, especially office people or friends?
I mean, they are very happy, first of all, to, I mean, and everyone congratulated me, and they have been asking and inquiring, okay, what led to all this. So I mean, one thought which comes to my mind was something I also mentioned you before, was the key to scoring good and to clearing the exam is visualization.
Right.
So one needs to imagine, one needs to see oneself clearing it, and yeah, that's what you instilled in me from the first day itself. And yeah, the overall
Right.
feedback from everyone has been really good. My parents are very happy, and yes, everyone is like, okay, now when are you doing part 2?
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, if any student comes to you and asks you any tips to clear the FRM exam, so what would be the top 3 tips that you want to give?
Yeah. The first is having a mentor like you. Yes, wherein, I mean, you provided us guidance and you provided us direction. So a direction is very important because these are like 60 odd chapters, and it takes time to complete each of these chapters, and it takes time to recall them also. So that is where you'll have to be very structured and not burning yourself out initially, because the last month will be really tough, when you'll have to slog for more hours and complete more chapters in a shorter span of time. So first is proper guidance and good material which you provided both. The second would be having a study partner. A study partner
Right.
is someone who will always keep challenging you. Okay, he has completed 2 more chapters than me, I'll need to rush, or he's scoring better than me on tests, I'll have to buck up. And so yeah, that's the second one. And the third is like you need to really like the subject uh, and have that I mean affection towards finance as well as statistics. So yeah, these are the top 3 points from my side. I
Perfect,
mean,
perfect.
besides that, it's all your hard work which will pay off.
Wonderful, wonderful, Masoom. I mean, this discussion definitely going to be helpful to a lot of students, and because you had a work also, you had full-time job, and you're managing the job, you're doing the preparation, like you said, maximum 2 hours
Yes.
on a daily basis to pick up things, and you were able to complete your reading also properly, solving also. You went to the question bank again. So definitely, it is possible if you give proper 6 months time. This exam is feasible to clear, right? So this, I think,
Definitely.
should go out as a loud message to a lot of students who are going to be looking at this video and the interview. This should motivate them to start early and make themselves comfortable with the content. That's all. So thank you very much once again. Thank you for joining and taking out your time for the session. Thank you very much, Masoom. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you, sir.